Coach Hadassah here, metaphysician, emotional wellness coach, wellness entrepreneur, and youth division global expansion leader with Extreme FX Global Academy, where Bitcoin and Forex collide. And I come before you today on this here Sunday morning, July 25th. And my hope and prayer is that, first of all, you all are okay. You were on the wake up list this morning, and that you have a very, very productive Sunday. And when I say productive, it doesn't necessarily mean like hard work, but productive in living, right? Productive in living, productive in health, productive in rest, even because rest is a law. But that you just have a very, very productive day and whatever endeavors you intend to set out on this morning. So, I was on earlier today and I woke up to some news that involved the youth, which was very, very interesting. And I felt it in my spirit to just go live, although it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. But hey, when the spirit speaks and tells you to do something, you got to do it. So, I went out on my walk as I usually do in the mornings. That's my exercise, as well as my spiritual moment. I come back home and doing things around here, and I want to give a shout out to Christy Wilson, who is in our. She's a global expansion leader in Extreme FX Global as well. She came over last night, and we were brainstorming and things like that about some things we're about to do in the community in the Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana. Okay. So I wanted to give a shout out to her because not only did we do some good brainstorming, but you see those flowers right there. Right there, right there. She brought me those beautiful bouquet of flowers. And let's see. Well, next to it, you can't see the wine rack, but it's a wine rack over there. She brought me some wine. My two favorites. Right? If she would have brought me watermelon, it's like, oh my gosh, I would have been in heaven. Watermelon or Affy Taffies. I love them. All right, so let's get down to business. So I came back home and I happened to go into our Telegram group because that's what we do. We go and we check and things like that. And what do I see? What do I see? This is what I see. A snippet, a clip of a Chicago Sun-Times news article that says this is the headlines: Chicago's most violent weekend of 2021. 104 shot, 19 of them killed, 13 kids among the wounded. So I'm going to read that again, but I'm going to switch out the word kids because, we're not raising goats. Although people use that as an acronym now for the greatest of all times. I get it, but just follow me. Chicago's most violent weekend of 2021. 104 shot, 19 of them killed, 13 youth among the wounded. So earlier I talked about this. I talked about because it was an article about a skating rink that has closed, and the owner has been slapped with a lawsuit of either fix it up because they're deemed it unsafe, in which that's not the case. Fix it, repair it, or whatever, or or tear it down. And so the owner went about to say that, and this was a neighborhood, the neighborhood article. I mean, not article, but what she posted in the neighborhood was that the real deal is that the property taxes are $96,000 annually. And then someone provided some tax information about the whole deal village, how all of that stuff comes into play. And the thing is, our children gets caught up in politics. The well-being of our children gets caught up in politics, whether it is in the educational system, um, in the community, with things recreational, and all of that. You have adults in authority and these positions making decisions, and the children get left out in the war back and forth in the politics. And so what's left from that is a violent weekend where 104 are shot, 19 killed, and 13 among the wounded are our children. That's what's happening. So I meant to grab something, but I may be able to bring it up on here. But we cannot continue to point the finger and blame our children for being angry and expressing their anger and frustration through destructive habits, destructive means, because adults in authority are not listening and thinking about the best interests of our children. We, those who are middle age, in which I am, grew up on a song from the late and great Whitney Houston. That what? And this was graduation. I mean, oh my gosh, 1985. Lord have mercy. That was the song. That was the song. That was the graduation song for years, right? I believe the children are our future, and they are. But what are we doing? How are we holding ourselves accountable and responsible to make good decisions, not only for ourselves to line our own pockets or to get in certain positions, to hold certain titles, but for our youth? They are watching us. We are their leaders at this point, even if we don't think so. Even if we look, they are watching. They are watching us in our homes. They are watching us out here in public. They are watching us in our schools. They are watching us in, in the community. They are watching us in these political seats. They are watching us. They are observing our behavior. And the behavior that they would tend to emulate, those who they feel, because everything is energy. Emotions are energy in motion. So we all feel this energy. And because everybody wants some form of power, right? Power just means to have the ability to execute. Okay? To have the ability to execute. They want power. They look and see who has some form of power that they can feel, and then they emulate that behavior. So if they see or observe the drug dealer in power, they see and observe the gangsters in power, they feel or observe crooked politicians in power. They feel and observe, look, someone, in the school system, whether it be a teacher, a principal, whatever administrator, if they feel some type of power. Now, here's the thing about it. Power is power. It just is what it is. How you use your power is what makes the difference. People have power, and there's nothing wrong with power, but when power is abused or misused, that's the problem. That's the problem. But still, we have children who are observing and feel the energy and the dynamics of the power. And whichever way they feel or see that results have been gotten, that's what they follow. That's what they do. That's what they emulate. That's how that works. So if our children are out here doing drugs, in gangs, selling drugs, shooting, all of that, it's because that they've observed somebody close to them and afar off through media and all of that who are in power. But usually it starts with who's around them. And then something outside of them that they can't reach just confirms that for them. And they say, oh, that's the way I'm going to be, because I see results. Everybody's looking for results and benefits of whatever it is that's going on. That's it. That's it. So we, as adults in authority, need to do a better job. We have to look at our behavior. We have to take a look in a mirror of ourselves, because what we're observing from our children is a direct reflection of what we're either doing or not doing. And we have to be, look, we're accountable and responsible for that. Period. That's it. We're accountable and responsible for that. Now, I have to say this. I have reached out with a solution, right? With the solution, because I know what the issue is. Many of us know what the issue is. It's like the pink elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge. But we have to acknowledge it. And I'm going to speak the truth and shame the devil all day, every day. There's a financial problem. These children want money. And guess what? Adults do too. That's the reason why all of this political stuff is going on and happening with power and the abuse of power or the misuse of power. We got people that are lining their pockets at the expense of our youth. And these people will use the youth to line their pockets. I'm going to say that again. Will use the youth to line their pockets. Create programs so-called for the youth to line their pockets. Stuff look good on paper and paperwork. Maybe it'll help out a few or not. But it's to line their pockets and not really truly help the youth. And that's not cool. It's not. I have reached out to as many youth organizations and people who are over there, whether they're youth leaders, youth pastors, teachers, the youth organizations, nonprofit, or whatever, right? As long as you, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, working with the youth. Because, again, they're our future. We want to shape and mold their minds and behaviors and things like that because they're the next leaders of the world. And I'm not sure if we're thinking, but we will be older, we will be elderly, and the youth that we have right now that we're not paying attention to will be running the show. And they will remember, right, how we are not listening to them and addressing the issue. And then guess what? They won't listen to us. That's actually what's happening right now. But I tell you who they are listening to, because look, listen, when I tell you our youth are not stupid. They are not stupid. They are not dumb. They are not naive. They are not that. Especially in the world that we live in now, where there's so much access to information. It's no longer just being held within a certain group and stuff like that. As long as you have, it's called a smartphone for a reason. As long as we have the internet, the World Wide Web, social media, and the smartphone with information at our fingertips, we can find out anything we want to find out. All we have to do is have the mind to search, be researchers. That's all. That is it, right? And so they know what's up. They know when they hear a bunch of garbage, and they know when they hear the truth. They know when people are really for their best interest and the ones that are not. They know. They feel it. We all do, really. It's just a matter of if we want to hide our heads in the sand or not. But they know. So I don't treat them like they don't. They are geniuses, right? So listen, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about our future. Ours as middle-aged people who will eventually is not look. We feeling cracking in our bones and back pain and all of that kind of stuff now, right? Okay. So we have our children that are coming up, coming of age and everything in this world. We better give them the tools and everything that they need to make sound decisions. Give them the truth. Teach them, right? Lead and guide their behavior and conduct so that they can act accordingly. And it's by our example. We need to listen to them. They are telling us the world that they're in. And if we're not paying attention and not listening, guess what? Again, we're going to get old one day. We're not going to be able to do the things that we're doing now. And they will be the ones in the positions that we're in now. And like I said, they'll remember. They will remember. So what do we do? What's the solution? Right now, everybody needs financial solutions. Everybody needs financial solutions. In these schools, come on, let's be honest. We weren't even taught. We were not. We were not even taught, and it's still right now today. Financial literacy is not in the schools, and that's by design. That is by design. Period. It's by design. And so our program does just that. It is personal development. They need it. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars on personal development because your income grows as you grow, unless you find other means or ways to do it. But in integrity, your income grows as you grow. That's personal development. Also, spiritual development, which is truly key. As a matter of fact, let's see how much time we have. All right. So I'm going to share something. So that you know what we have to do, what we have before us, and how we need to pay attention to our youth and work with them right now where they are with spiritual development, personal development, financial literacy, because education, their curiosity, they're already curious. They're going to learn, but it's what they learn that makes the difference. And that's up to us to put out there for them. There are gatekeepers that are out here. And these gatekeepers are in the very organizations that we put our children in, but also being held back. We don't need any more of that, because that's why we have the youth out here that are frustrated. And then you have articles like this that pop up. All right. So what I'm about to share, just keep in mind and apply this, right? Apply it to our youth and ourselves, really. Just apply this. So check it out.
As you start to climb the ladder of success, all right? Thank you, Grant, for listening. As you start to climb the ladder of success, okay, you got to understand, when you climb the ladder of success, you are no longer on the level of your peers, okay? Okay, success and going to the next level is all about physical mastery, emotional mastery, and cognitive mastery. Write this down, okay? Let me speak a little more simple. It's all about physical mastery, it's all about emotional mastery, and it's all about mental mastery. Mental, i.e. cognitive mastery, okay? You have to get into the place of thinking that I want to master all three areas, okay? But here is the reality, Raji. You never really get to mastery. There's really no such thing, because every level, there is another layer to that level, and there's another level and another level and another level. That's how you hear people say millions, billions, trillions, because really, real successful people, that success comes from the physical, the emotional stance of being strong and mastering emotion, and mental cognitive mastery. When you become successful, and then the spiritual level taps in, because see, you got to know success is 80% spiritual. This is what y'all got to understand. That's why your mamas and your daddies never got real rich, because they worked hard. How many of y'all got mamas that worked their job for 40 years and they still broke? They worked hard. They got up every morning. They went to work. They had to be there at 8. So then they created a routine of going to bed at 10 or 9. And then they woke up at 6 to have a cup of coffee, to drink their coffee, and to, of course, read their newspaper. And then they went to work, and they dropped the kids off to work. And some families, cooked breakfast. And they had this freaking routine. They did it every day. And those people died broke, unhappy, and unfulfilled. Never have they ever been able to experience the fullness of life, because they fell into a routine of what they think life is all about. Check this out. I need to finish it, Grant. Stay here. So then what happens is that you wake up one day and you realize this is bullshit. You wake up one day, I don't know if you read a book, you watch a movie, you see a picture, you hear a story, but something happens to you. And then you start to freaking realize, wait a freaking minute. There's something out there better than what I'm doing right here, Grant. And then when that thing touches you, it affects you and it infects you inside. It affects you, and then it infects you. So it gets inside of you. And now you don't feel fulfilled. You feel like something is missing. And every time you go back around your old friends, your old people, it could be family members, it could be brother, sister. Anytime you go back around these people, you really feel uncomfortable. You really don't feel like you belong. And watch what you do. Let me show you what y'all do. Let me tell you what y'all do. You start to ask them their opinion of what you should do. Hey, I got the opportunity to do so-and-so, and so-and-so called me about so-and-so, and I got this opportunity to start this business, and I got this opportunity to make this investment, watch this, and I got this opportunity to be a partner, and you wouldn't ask somebody that's on a level that you have already climbed up from. You go ask somebody that's on the level that you have climbed above, that you have raised up from, and they're giving you their opinion based upon their level. How am I going to ask my daddy, for real, what to do to become a multi-millionaire when my dad never became a multi-millionaire himself? And what my dad is going to do, because we were born and created for self-preservation, to protect and to provide and protect. Come on, Grant, thank you for being here. Your mama and your daddy, Grant, your mama and your daddy is going to tell you, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. That's risky. Oh, watch this. He or she just wants your money. They may be trying to scam you. They're really trying to protect you. They don't know how to give you a positive assessment. See, we got to stop accepting the opinions, okay? They cannot give you a positive, clear assessment because they can't tell you what they've never experienced. And they can't take you somewhere they have never been. And so guess what begins to happen? Come on, somebody, y'all better listen to me. Let me tell you what begins to happen. You begin to become even more uncomfortable with your little success, and you ain't even seen nothing yet. Because you keep going back to the same old people, asking them what should you do, and they're giving you an opinion, and you know that it really doesn't sit well with your spirit, but because you already are afraid, and you already a little higher than you are used to, because you have not really developed yourself to reach and to maximize your financial thermostat, guess what happens to you? You make a little money a little bit, you get a little lick a little bit, you may have a little run, you know, you become a has-been. And now you are going to push yourself back down to the level that you really are supposed to be at, because you did not continue on your journey to physical mastery, to cognitive mental mastery, to emotional mastery. Let me tell you something. When you tap into those 3 areas right there, when you tap into those 3 areas right there, and you stay there, you keep growing, you keep going, you go girl, you grow girl, you go girl, you go guy, you keep growing, you keep going. I promise you, one day those very people that were so opinionated, those people that you were going to as assessors and doing your due diligence is asking your broke mama, what should you do? When your broke mama never made it off the couch. You ask your broke baby daddy or your broke baby mama or your broke cousin or your best friend what you should do, and they make $50,000 a year when you make $50,000 a month. I'm gonna tell you like this right here, right now. Do not spend your $1 million time talking to $10 an hour people. Do not take your $1 million time talking to people who only have the understanding and the cognitive understanding, the mental understanding of how to survive, especially when you are going on to another level called thrive. You got to be careful. That's why they say you become like the sum total of the people you hang around, the sum total of the people that you listen to. You hang around 5 broke people, you make number 6. So you know what I'm doing right now? I am working very diligently and very intentionally on changing my circle. Nothing wrong with my people. I love them. But I am going on to another level because somebody got to take us there.
Yeah. So, yes. Yeah, we're going to do that. So that's why our children are frustrated. Because inherently, we all come here with an abundant spirit. That's how we come. And then here comes this world. And those who are in authority in it with the what you can and what you can't and what you get, you know, and a little bit here and the gatekeepers and the so forth and so on and all of that. And because these children want to express their abundance, but keep getting smacked down, keep getting the resources taken away from them, keep getting just all of these things, keep getting the, well, Look, go along with the program because this, that. Keep getting all of that. The energy that they end up expressing turns into Chicago's most violent weekend of 2021. Right? Where what? 104 are shot, 19 are killed, and 13 of them are among the wounded are the youth. Get out the way. Get out of the way. And for those of you who would hear this, and you are that person that it is in your spirit, it is in my spirit. It is in my spirit when I came here. And when I say when I came here, I'm talking about when I touched this earth, period. That's my purpose. That's why I was given a whole lot of kids in the first place. I got 7 of them, and 5 of them are sons. And we live in Chicago, and it's almost crazy. It's almost crazy to say. And my eldest son said it. He's what? How old is he now? 30? Yeah, he's 30. He's 30 now. Okay. When he went away to college, and it was some question that was asked or whatever about, where they came from and their accomplishment or whatever thus far. He said that his accomplishment thus far, and at that particular time, he was what, maybe 22? His accomplishment thus far was that he made it out of Chicago alive, not shot, or in jail with so much as a police record. And that's the truth. That is the truth. If you can get out of here without having so much of an arrest record where you were arrested for a traffic stop even or something like that because they looking to smack you with something. He don't have an arrest record. He ain't been to jail. He haven't been shot. Now, again, that's crazy. But at the same time, that's what it's like here. To be a black man here, but really all over, right? If you somewhere in the inner city or wherever you live, yeah. And then I have 4 more sons coming after that. And it's like, okay, whoo. And especially being a single mother, right? I was a single mother, teenage mother within. So teenage mother, like I came from a teenage mother and made it to college. And to be alive, not shot, not having an arrest record and caught up and all of that. That was like an accomplishment. And that shouldn't even be a thought, but it is. But then to know I got 4 more to go after him. 4 more sons to go. And that's why the Holy Spirit said, you must homeschool. I heard it. You must homeschool. I have something for you to do, and you cannot do it behind this chair, because I was a licensed cosmetologist. Said, bring it on to the crib. Come home. You got to raise your children. Because they would have got caught up at school. At school. 4 more sons. And now that they are teenagers, but homeschooled, and not coddling them or anything like that, but putting them in the environments that is conducive for their spiritual growth, psychological, mental, emotional, and physical. But my sons aren't the only ones that exist. And the thing is, it's almost like it's some type of elite club or something like that that you have to be in or connected to or whatever for your children to be in the end, circle or whatever. They're locked out by not having the financial means, right? If you want to put them in some like summer program or something like that. I remember when, look, single mom, and I just had 3 children at the time, and I wanted to have my children in summer camp activities and stuff because I know that when children they're not in some type of activities and things like that they will get into trouble. You will talk about the teenage pregnancy, what else? Gangs, all of that. Because children have energy that need to be expressed, but they need to be channeled properly. And it is the adults that are the ones that are supposed to do that, right? To put them in those environments. And then when they're in those environments, that the adults that they're, that are over them in those environments, look, don't do things to the children that they're not supposed to be doing, right? So those programs, what? It could be $400, $500, $600 or something like that for a couple of weeks. But what if you're a single parent? What if you're a 2-parent household? But outside of paying your bills and everything, you don't have the means to the money like that to put your children in these programs. Then now they feel left out or, whatever. And then they're frustrated about, they see their friends going and doing, but then they can't because all my parents don't have the money to do so. Now they frustrated and angry at the parents because their parents trying to do the best they can with what they have, but it's not enough because, hey, I want to go into this program too because I want to, you see what I'm saying? And that shouldn't be the case. But it is the case. But we do have a solution. Our program, it doesn't cost you $5. As a matter of fact, I have 5 in this program, Extreme FX Global Academy, that all of them where it would be the cost for one child to attend a program for maybe a couple of weeks and don't get the results that they really, really need, right? The personal development, which includes the spiritual, psychological, emotional, mental, and physical development, financial literacy, all of that, a skill set that they will always have. Because we always say, what do we always say? When you get the education, then nobody can take your education away from you. That's true. That is very true. But what are we being educated about? You heard Stormy. She was just talking about, then you're around, you're around 5 broke people, you'll be the 6th one, right? But then she talked about somebody making $50,000 a year while this person is making $50,000 a month. And I know $50,000 a year earners that's barely making it. $50,000, that's $3,000 a month. Where do you live? That's $3,000 a month. But where do you live? The average mortgage or rent in a decent neighborhood is about $1,000 to $1,500 a month. That's half your money. Now you got another $1,500. You got utilities. You have a car note. You have credit card debt. You have You got student loans. Come on now. Let's not play. And they say an extra $500 in a household can save a family. An extra 500, because that could be, the cost of little Timmy or Tina going to a recreational program or something like that. Or an Extreme FX Global Academy membership for the next 5 months. But in 5 months, they would have learned a skill set that applying themselves within 30 days, they can pay their own membership. And we can get our children off the street. We can have it to where our children not even thinking about crime. They're not even thinking about picking up a gun or shooting or anything like that. Because listen, when you have what it is that you need and you want, you trying to stay out the way. You trying to stay out the way. One of our educators, our master educators, he talk about that all the time. He was like, I was out there. I was doing stuff I had no business doing. I was on the run from the police and all of that because I was trying to survive. He said, then somebody just presented me with this, showed me, I delved into it like a mad scientist, and this took up all my time. And I started making the money and everything. He's like, I'm staying out the way. I don't have no reason to be doing all of that stuff. None. I'm chilling. I'm happy. I'm in this spirit of joy, elated. And all I want to do is give back to my community and the youth, because I was there. And now I'm not there. He personally mentors my son. Right? But what did I do? I put my children in this program. Because I'm like, what we not going to do is have y'all caught up out here not being able to have a means in the financial literacy that you need to take care of yourselves. My goal as a parent and as a mother is to have my children independent of me, not dependent on me. And having 5 young men, eventually, if they choose, they will be someone's husband and father. You don't need to be leaning on mama. So I want to raise up men who will be and have the behavior as a husband and father. So that all I can do is enjoy my grandchildren in one place. That's it. And eventually, I'm going to need to hold something. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let me hold something. But that's the point. That's the point. So if we want to not be complaining, especially a lot of us are complaining about the adults right now. And apparently something was missing in the upbringing. So we look at that and we like, hey, we probably can or can't do anything about the adults. But who was that quote? I think it was a Frederick Douglass quote. It's better to raise or build strong. Build. He said it's better to build strong children than to repair broken men. It is better to build strong children than to repair broken men. If you are listening to the sound of my voice, and if you have gotten this far in this live, or if you choose to listen to the repeat, and I know today we are in a microwave type of world and everything, and if we see a video or something like that that's over 10, 15 minutes, it's like, oh, I don't have time to listen. And although I understand, because I'm at that point right now too, but a lot of times that's probably the problem as well. We don't take the time that we need to listen to the things that are very, very important. Everything not a sizzle. Everything is not a sizzle. You'll be entertained for 2 hours. Let Beyonce say she coming to your city. You buying the ticket for about $300, $400, $500, and you will be entertained for 2 hours, standing on your feet, fighting through traffic, going and coming. And she done made her money, millions of it. But then what do? You have an experience of, oh my gosh, that was the greatest performance ever. The energy in the room, yada, yada, yada. And then back to your same life to be entertained all over again, and won't listen to something that could really help you and your children and your community for what? 45 minutes, maybe 50. We got to change so that we can give our children something different. So this is for the people whose spirit this penetrates. If you want to do something different for your own life and your children's lives, it's right there. It's scrolling across the screen, right? Extreme FX Global Academy, where Bitcoin and Forex collide. Money is changing. In the next 3, maybe 4 years, 4 to 5 years, it will look totally different. And if you don't know what to do, you will have missed the boat. You know, we talk about Noah, all that kind of stuff. There's a boat in every age and dispensation. There's a boat in every one. And if you're not on in this boat going to the next dispensation, you'll be behind. You'll be stuck in an energy pattern that you can't get out of. But you have a window. You really truly have a window. And the time is really now. It's like, think about this, and then I'm going to end it. The plane is at the airport. There is a certain time for you to be there. And they're going to board at a certain time. And then they're going to close the boarding 30 minutes before it's time for them to fly. And it does not matter if they don't pull out the airport or whatever on time. They may have to, oh, okay, well, because I was just on a plane not too long ago, a flight. And we had to wait because it was something that they need to do, coordinates or whatever. But they wasn't letting people off that plane, and they wasn't letting people in. They just had to figure out what they needed to do. But who was ever on there and boarded on time, and then they closed off boarding, wasn't nobody getting off the plane, and nobody was getting on it. And then when they did whatever, we left. Right now, it's boarding time. But you only have a certain window. You don't necessarily know when that window is. And to be honest, I really don't either. I kind of do because I follow universal timing. But I'll say for this company, for this academy, right? We're in the building stages. 6 months. We 6 months in. This is the time that you want to make a move for you and your children. Because after a year, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't get in after a year or anything or anything like that. But the most is made during that first year. Come and help build this community. Come and help build this community. Right? Come and help build it. You're going to get what you put in. Come and help build it for your children. Have them building right alongside you like I got mine. Right? Your children, if you're building something and you're building it for them, they need to be right alongside with you so that they understand. They have as much stake as you do. Because you can do it and then they're not involved in the work and you're like, okay, because I did all of this and made these sacrifices and this is that and the other to leave a legacy for you and all of that kind of stuff. And then guess what? They take it in about 2 to 3 years, they done ran through everything because they didn't know how to keep it. They weren't in on helping. They weren't right alongside of you, working with you, and then them learning how to do it and how to appreciate it. Do you know that that is a biblical principle? Deuteronomy chapter 6, right? Deuteronomy chapter 6. Now, Deuteronomy is a law book. Okay? It's one of the law books. The first 5 books of the Bible are the law. So, Deuteronomy chapter 6, they said, matter of fact, I'm sitting up here. I'm going to pull it up on my app, Bible. I'm on Galatians. Deuteronomy. I'm going to read this and I'm going to go. Trust me, I'll be trying. I'll be like, look, Father, I'm going to just come in here and say something real quick. He like, no, you're not. No, you're not either. Because you're going to say what it is that I'm saying that you need to say. All right. Okay. Forget it. Listen, it's only 25 verses anyway. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Now, these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which you're going to hear me say this name, which Yahweh your Elohim commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you go to possess it. The land that you're going to possess, number one, is your own mind. This is the land. Your mind, our minds was hijacked, right? We always talk about that conditioned mindset. A conditioned mindset. It's been hijacked. You got to get your mind back. This is the promised land. Because once you get this together, it will take you where you need to go. You will have the clarity of vision because we don't see with our eyes. We see with our mind. That's why the scriptures say, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It has to be renewed. It has to be transformed because we was in this world. We was conditioned in this world for the first 7 years of our life and it didn't even get our consent. That's the truth. The first 7 years, our mind was in this theta state where it was, and the theta state is a hypnotic state to where we just absorbed our environment. And then everything that our parents and those in authority and all of that taught us along with what we just observed and absorbed in our environment, that became our belief system. We didn't even know what a belief system was. So it did that without our conscious consent. Then we start going on about life and then wondering why this isn't working, that isn't working. We did this, we did that, we did what they said, we did what they... And then something traumatic happens, and it has to happen. Because what trauma does is reframes the brain. It basically just about wipes out everything you thought you knew. Thoughts, concepts, opinions, all of that. So now you just about have a clean slate. You need to heal it, a traumatized brain, but it's a clean slated brain, the mind, right? So this is the land to possess. So now, 2, that you might revere Yahweh your Elohim, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you. Look, which I command you and your son and your son's son all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. We talking about 104 people that just got shot, and 19 killed, and 13 youth wounded. But right here it's talking about the prolonging of your life. But that has to do with teaching yourself, your sons, and your sons' sons. Meaning, you got to get it. Then your children has to get it. And then your children's children has to get it. That's 2 more generations. A generation is about 21 years. So this is a 40-year plan. And folks trying to plan for the weekend. You don't even have today's plan. Is your today plan written down? Mine is. Right here in this book. AP Action Planner. Thank you, Dr. Linda Rogers Brown. Right? 90 days. Like, my 90 days is about to look different. But every day I'm working on what's planned already here, because the 90-day plan helps with the 40-year plan. I'm already looking at my 40-year plan. That's called my granddaughter. You see what I'm saying? She's here. But then we're talking about children that's not even here yet. Because I still got 5 more children that can possibly have children. Right? So I'm looking at my future like, look, it's possible if they each have 2 children apiece, how many of them jokers could be at my house at the same time? Right? I could possibly have 14 grandchildren at my house all at once. OMG. What will I feed them? Will I have enough food at my house? Where would I take them? Will I have enough money in order to do so? What am I leaving them after I'm gone? Are we thinking about that? That's a 40-year plan. Some people don't even know where they want to be in 10 years, 5 years, whatever, a year. And that's not to say that what you do, oh, I want to be a such and such and so. No, like a vision. And then the little steps and everything kind of comes along the way. But at least have something there to structure it. Like, do distractions happen? Yes, they do. You better know what distractions are. You have to know the difference between what's a distraction and what's actually something that's coming along to actually help you accomplish the goals that you have written down. But you got to have it written. This is written, right? So, that's Deuteronomy 6 verse 2. 3, hear you therefore, O Israel. Israel is real. We talking about a reality here, right? And observe. Be consciously aware of your environment and everything, right? That it may be well with you, that you may increase, not decrease, but increase mightily, as Yahweh Elohim of your fathers have promised you. Promised. Come on now. In the land that flows with milk and honey. We talking about some good things. We talking about land. We talking about if you have land and you know how to grow some things, you can grow, listen, let me keep going. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim is Yahweh, a unity, is one, is a unity. So we have to be unified, right? Because that's how our Elohim operates. That's the reason why there's so much, that comes against, that try to divide and conquer. Because Yahweh is a unity. If Yahweh is a unity, then there has to be an opposing force that attempts to divide. So you stay unified, period. Right? And that you shall teach them diligently unto your, no, wait, hold on. Yahweh Elohim is Yahweh, a unity. And you shall love your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. Shall be. You need to pay attention to that word shall. That word shall is powerful. That is an absolute must, right? Shall. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. Now, this is the point that I was getting to. You shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. That seems like there is no end to how you need to be teaching your children. And look, if you're teaching them diligently to your children and talk of them when you sit in your house, what conversations are you having with your children at home? What's the teaching that's going on, right? And when you walk by the way, now your children are with you when you outside, right? And when you lie down, now your children they're at bedtime. Right? And when you rise up, now they're right there early in the morning. You get your eyeballs open and your children right there. They need to be with you at all times to learn, to observe. Sound like homeschooling to me, but I digress. So, and you shall bind them for signs upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the post of your house and on your gates. Look, we be having little signs. Look, I got a little sign over here that say love lives here. Little things. We got posty notes and stuff that's like, I am this, that, and the other. I will be, so I would affirmations, right? Basically, it's like post the affirmations all around your house, on the signpost of your door. That's what this sounds like to me, right? And it shall be when Yahweh your Elohim should have brought you into the land which he sware unto your fathers. Don't that sound like a legacy? Don't that sound like he's something that's passing down from father to father to father to generation to generation to generation? Something he promised to your fathers that it's yours, right? Listen. And when Yahweh shall have brought you to the land in which he sware unto your fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, to give you great and goodly cities. I just want y'all to read this book. That he shall give you great and goodly cities. Look, which you did not build. Okay? And houses full of good things which you didn't fill, and wells dig which you didn't well, and that you didn't dig, and vineyards and olive trees which you planted not. When you shall have eaten, when you should have eaten, and be full, then be aware lest you forget Yahweh your Elohim, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. I'm going to stop right there. So it's like, teach it all day, every day. Do not let up. Be consistent in your efforts. Lay hold of those promises, right? Because they're there. We're an abundant people coming from an abundant source. And so we have abundance within us that we must express. And when there's suppression and repression and depression and all of these pressions from oppressive energies, right? That's where the frustration comes in, and it bursts out because it must be expressed. It bursts out in anger and killings and shootings and all of that stuff. But if we get back to what we're supposed to do in the first place, which is teach our children and teach them the truth of who they are, who they truly are. They are not criminals. They're not hoodlums. They're not any of those things. They are not. They are abundant. They are creative. They are geniuses. And we need to set up things and systems and all of that and teach them in a way to where they have their needs and their desires met. Because this is what I know. I know this. I will not put myself in environments. There are certain environments that I will not put myself in because of where I am right now. Period. Now, our children, and I know because I just had a conversation with my 19-year-old about the same thing. We were at the store, right? We're having a conversation. I got a phone call about Ryan being on a presentation, and I had missed the call. Actually, that's what happened. I missed the call. So when I saw the message, I was like, oh, shoot, how did I miss the phone right in my hand? What's going on? So look, if you ever tried to call me, please text me because I will get the text message, but the phone might not ring. I don't know. So anyway, I called back. I'm calling back to, make sure that, did you talk to him? Okay, let me give you his number so you could call him. Ryan and already did the call. So I call back, the gentleman back, and he's congratulating me on a job well done for how my son handled himself. My other son handled himself in the call. You did a great job. This is that and the other. And of course, I'm like, look, thank you. I accept the compliment, but trust me when I say, let us thank our Heavenly Father Yahweh for saying, listen, homeschool your children. And we winged it. I promise you we did. We winged it every day. Father, what do you want me to teach these children today? Because I don't know. I am not a formally trained teacher, but I know that I'm the first teacher because I'm their mother and you entrusted them to me. So what would you have me to teach them? And then he would give it to me daily. And they're running with it. I see it budding. I still got 2 more to go. Pray. We're going to pray for them. All of that. But yeah. And it's like, okay. So that already happened on that end. It's like, okay, cool. He got that. He cool. And then I'm having this conversation with my other son, 19. The 17-year-old did his thing. The 19-year-old, he's like, yeah, I see, I'm proud of Ryan doing his thing and this is that and the other. And then he's telling me about, a situation that he was in. And he was like, see, he said, that's why I just have myself in certain, circles. And he was like, in the circle that I'm in, we don't allow that at all. He said, as soon as we see somebody go left, we move around. We get them out of our circle. Right? Now, that's a 19-year-old conversation. 19. Right? Because what? This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. Stormy was just talking about that. But what if we had that information and we shared it with all of our youth, right? Not just some, okay, well, we'll let these in and then not these. And now don't get me wrong, we do live in this where I know the reality of a situation. Everybody not gonna get it because it's the same thing that's going on with adults. The same thing is going on with adults. All of the information is shared and only a few will grab hold. Same thing with the children. Exposed, but only a few. But it has to do with the environment. And as adults, we create the environment. We create the environment for our children. We have to do it in our homes, individually, but we also have to do it collectively in the community. Because listen, I've seen children come from the worst of homes. They get out in a community environment that's better, and then they decide that I want to do better because I see something that's better outside of my community than in my house. And maybe I will be the one to change the trajectory for my family, or at least for myself. I've seen that. We'll say, oh, because they come from this kind of home, then they ain't gonna be nothing, or whatever. That's not always true. Many successful people, Stormy Wellington, you know her story. She was an exotic dancer and a booster and all kinds of stuff, right? She a 7-figure earner per month right now. We're not talking about seven figures per year, 7-figure figures per month. But I remember her from 12 years ago when we were in the opportunity together, and she was working on her first million in that company. And 12 years later, right? She talking about your mindset and this, that, and the other. Had to go through that process. Go through it and grow through it. But what if what she's learning right now, where she is right now, if that was her environment as a child? That's what we have to create for our children. That's what we are creating here at Extreme FX Global Academy. That's why we have a youth division, because a lot of times I'm going to end on Frederick Douglass. It is better to build strong children than to repair broken men and women. And with that, you all have a great Sunday. Extreme FX Global Academy, where Bitcoin and Forex collide. Have a great day. Have a great Sunday, and your church is whatever you make it.